Good morning, students. So let's start with prototyping model. So in the last lecture we have done waterfall model and we have seen that it is the basic reference model which tells us how a software is being developed using SDLC, and we have seen various application areas as well as the advantage and disadvantage of waterfall model. Further, we concluded that practically classical waterfall model is not applicable since it does not have any feedback path, but we have a modification or a modified model, that is an iterative waterfall model in which we have given additional feedback part to each and every phase and hence make it practically implementable. Now we will see that in the further models that we are going to study, the iterative approach will be applied in each and every model. Let's start with the prototyping model. So what do you mean by the term prototype? It's a very common term. Prototype is a toy implementation of something. Something in the sense which we are supposed to develop or engineer. We don't develop that system initially. First we make a toy implementation, means a small scale working model, implementable model, and check whether it is working properly or not. If it works properly, then only we go and develop the original system. Else we don't develop the original system, right? So we have two types of prototype model, that is a throwaway prototyping and evolutionary prototyping. Let's see what are all these. So prototyping is defined as the process of developing a working replication of a product or system that has to be engineered, right? That is a working model on a small scale. We prepare it for the system that we are supposed to develop. It offers a small scale facsimile of the end product and is used for obtaining customers' feedback. So why do we make that small scale toy or a working model? So that we can give it to the customer, he can evaluate it, and if he feels to give any feedback or modification is required, he can convey it to the development team members, and development team members can modify it, again give it to the customer for evaluation, take his feedback, accordingly again modify it, make the relevant changes again. So several times we keep on repeating this cycle. Why? To get the customer's exact requirements, to have a better understanding of his requirements, we keep on developing and modifying this prototype and get his exact requirements. So one thing is clear from this concept is prototype model is used where the requirements are not clear, and we make this prototype and give it to the customer to get his requirements or clear the requirements or have a better understanding of the requirement by giving it to the customers. For example, say if I am supposed to develop a website and that website must have 10 pages. So what does waterfall approach will say? Develop all the 10 pages and then give it to the customer for testing, final testing. If he is okay with it, he'll accept it, else he is going to reject it. So there is a possibility that he might reject it if he doesn't likes that website. But what is the advantage of prototype model is that we develop a prototype first of all. That means on a smaller scale, what we'll do, instead of developing all the 10 pages, I'll just develop one page, give it to the customer, get his feedback based on, like you can say, on the look and feel or the font, the size, right? Font type could be there, the color, background images, links that you are providing, just for all those things in a single page, right? You will get his feedback, how he wants that page to look like, how it must function. So we'll clear the requirements on this single page, again give it to the customer, again he will be giving certain feedback. After evaluating it, we are going to apply or like you can say implement all those changes whichever he give. We again give it to the customer for evaluating it, he'll work on it, Again, if there is any problem or change required, he'll revert back. We will rework on that and we'll again make the relevant changes as per his requirement. So this cycle keeps on repeating until unless we get his all the requirements and he is satisfied with that whatever you have developed. Now say he is satisfied with that page, he likes everything, the look and feel, the navigation links, the font, the color, background, images and everything, right? So now you got the requirement, you have one page in your hand. Now subsequently you can develop another 9 pages based on the requirements you got it using that one page, right, or that prototype. So this is what the basic concept of prototyping model is. We never develop the complete system initially, we just make it on a smaller scale, give it to the customer for evaluation before the actual development. We get his feedback, we make the relevant changes, again give him for the evaluation. So this cycle keeps on repeating until unless all the requirements are being clear, and further once he is satisfied only then we develop the actual system based on the requirements we have collected through this customer's feedback. So this is what the basic concept of prototyping model is. So simply now it will be clear now what we are going to read now. It's a working replication, it is developed on a smaller scale and it is used for customers feedback. The prototype model is the most popularly used SDLC models. This model is used when the customer do not know the exact project requirements beforehand, right? Like in the waterfall model we say a waterfall model is used when the requirements are initially well known. If they are not, we can never apply the waterfall model. Similarly, we'll say in case of a prototype model when the requirements are unclear and even if they are unstable, then also we can use prototyping model. Now what happens in this model is a prototype of the end product is first developed, tested and refined as per customers' feedback repeatedly till a final acceptable prototype is achieved, which forms the basis for developing the final product. So we develop the final product once all the requirements are you can say being cleared with the help of that prototype. Now final product is developed using iterative waterfall approach. This is what I said, that iterative waterfall approach will be used in every other model that we are going to study now. We'll see with the help of like you can say the diagram also how it is being applicable. See what happens is initially you go on gathering the requirement. First phase will always remain the same, the requirement analysis. Whatever requirements customer gives you, you gather it, right? Based on those collected information or the requirement, we quickly develop the prototype using this cycle. This is prototype development. You quickly design it, build the prototype, give it to the customer for evaluation, refine the requirements and incorporate customer suggestion. That means whatever customer feedback has been given, you are going to make the changes in your requirements. Again quickly design it, build the prototype, that means make the relevant changes, again give it to the customer. So this cycle keeps on repeating until and unless the customer is satisfied, it is accepted by the customer, right? Once the customer is satisfied, now we develop the actual system using iterative development approach, that is iterative waterfall approach. Will have design, coding, testing, implementation and maintenance, and we are not representing the feedback path externally here because it will make it a complex structure, not easily understood. So we are externally writing here, it's an iterative way. That means if you have any error or you want to make the changes here also, then you can go back and make the relevant changes in the respective phases. So it's an iterative development. So hope this is figure is clear to you. Initially requirements, quickly develop the prototype and give it to the customer for evaluation. Once the customer is satisfied, using iterative approach, develop your software. Now there is one problem in this model. Say you're giving it to the customer for evaluation and this cycle is repeated, right, many times. Now assume that the customer is never satisfied. Again he is giving changes because he himself doesn't know what he wants, because he's not a technical person, he could be a normal human being, right? So he couldn't understand his problem himself, so he'll ask for changes. So in that way, this cycle of prototype development could become a bottleneck. I mean is, it becomes an unending cycle. You keep on developing and modifying the prototype, and the actual system is never developed since the customer is not satisfied. So it might happen, rarely, but yes, it might happen. This is one of the possibility in prototype model, the major drawback, right? Now see, what do you mean by a prototype? We said it's a toy implementation. So what do you mean exactly by a toy implementation? It has limited functionalities or capabilities, low reliability, inefficient performance. It is developed on a small scale, and it is developed using shortcuts. Now since we are using shortcuts to develop it, just to make it work, to see whether it is working properly or not, so definitely reliability will be low, as well as the performance will not be up to the mark. But yes, it will help us to fetch the requirements or clear the requirement from the customer. So it is widely used thing, right? On a small scale you will be developing it. It's a working model. Now what is the process? It has been like described here. Start with approximate requirements, whatever you have, quickly design it. Prototype model is built using several shortcuts. Shortcuts might involve using inefficient, inaccurate, or dummy functions, right? Shortcut means not the original function, you can use a dummy function. A function may use a lookup table rather than performing the actual computation, right? Instead of going for elaborated process, you can just use the lookup tables for that. The developed prototype is submitted to the customer for his evaluation. Based on the user's feedback, requirements are refined. The sales cycle continues until the user approves the prototype, and then the actual system is developed using iterative waterfall approach. So I have just quickly summarized those phases shortly, right? Now when to use this model, right? Prototype model is used when the requirements are not clearly understood or are unstable. This is the very basic point. Apart from that, we use prototype model to demonstrate the technical feasibility of the system. Say customer gave us a problem, now we have to check whether it is feasible or not. So verbally nothing is possible, right? You cannot say but just with the problem statement whether it is feasible or not. You have to show something practically, whether it is working or not, it is feasible or not. So prototyping is one of the way where we actually develop a working model with the shortcuts and limited functionality, and we can check whether it can be implemented or not. So this is what technical feasibility is. We can demonstrate it, yes it is working, so we will be developing the original system. But if it is not working using this prototype, so unnecessary we would be wasting our resources in developing the original system. Now prototype model should be used when the desired system needs to have a lot of interaction with the end users, right? So this can be used when customer is throughout involved, so much of interaction is there. So this model provides us a way or a step where we have a you can say a step where we can interact with the customer. While this was lagging in the waterfall model, customer gives the requirement initially and then he is involved in the testing process to test it. Nowhere in the middle he has any involvement, but in the prototype he has an involvement. He can interact with the development team members and give his requirement. Now where it is used basically for the interfaces, I said, like in the websites where you have to design the user interface, there it is being used, right? Apart from that, one more example could be, we also use this in gaming softwares. In gaming softwares also, like we have different levels, so you prepare one level, give it to the customer for evaluation, he'll give you the feedback, so you can modify your first level, and based on the requirements you collected from the level 1, you can use those requirements to develop the level 2, level 3 further. All the levels can be prepared on that grounds. So two basic application areas, first is in the website development and second one is the gaming softwares. Now what is the advantage of using this prototype model? The customer gets to see the partial product early in the life cycle, right? The customer is involved in the prototype development phase, while Compare it with the waterfall model, he gets the working software very late in the software. So it becomes an advantage here. So the level of customer satisfaction and comfort will be more. New requirements can be easily accommodated as there is a scope for a requirement. Since you're developing a prototype and taking the customer's feedback, you are refining the requirements. While in the case of waterfall model, this was not possible. So we did waterfall model earlier because that act as a standard and we can compare every other model with that model, right? So we are doing this. Missing functionalities can be easily figured out. Error can be detected much earlier, thereby saving a lot of effort and cost, besides enhancing the quality of the product. How quality is improved? When the customer is satisfied, we'll say it's a quality product. All his desired functionality is getting implemented, whether it is functional requirement or non-functional requirement. So it is definitely when customer is satisfied, all his requirements are getting fulfilled. So it will be a quality product. And since how you're going to save the effort and the cost, you're developing a software, you're developing a prototype. So in by developing that prototype, what actually we are doing, we are resolving the risk of failure that might happen at the end, right? In waterfall model, the possibility of chances were more at the end because we haven't took the customer's requirement in the middle, or the requirement might got changed while you were developing the software and we have no scope for implementing all those changed requirements. But in the case of prototype, you are getting the changed requirements, you are taking all the customers requirement in the intermediate level. So ultimately he will be, so that cost will be saved actually, right? Else it might fail at the end, the entire resources will be wasted. The developed prototype can be reused by the developer for more complicated projects in the future. They are reusable in nature and the design is flexible, right? Flexible means it's not rigid that strictly you have to follow it. You have iterative waterfall approach at the end for developing the new system, as well as in the prototype building also you can make the relevant changes. So if it is rigid, you cannot make the changes. If it is flexible, then only you can make the changes. Now coming up to the disadvantages, it's costly with respect to time as well as money. Why it is costly? You are developing a product or a prototype other than your original system. So extra time, effort and resources are required to develop that prototype, right? And then original system will be developed later. So the cost will be involved in original system, but extra is required for your prototype development. Then interaction with the customer also involves money. There may be too much variation in the requirements each time the prototype is evaluated by the customer, because customer is a human being, right? Every time he can give, like one time you have make the changes, next time he's saying no, I didn't want that, but he only asked us to develop it. The requirement might change as and when he evaluates it. Poor documentation due to continuously changing customers requirement, definitely, since you are making changes, so each time you're not going to make the relevant changes in the documents. It will be a wastage of time and you don't have much time to invest in just updating the documents. Your aim is just to make your prototype work as per the customer's need. Now it is very difficult for the developers to accommodate all the changes demanded by the customer. Say customer sometimes gives your requirement which is not implementable, so it's not possible that you can implement everything. Whatever he has stated earlier, to some extent we can have the modifications, but not like he changes entire thing 100%, requirements are changed, so that is not possible. 10%, 20%, okay, it's acceptable, but all the requirements, that means entire system will itself change, so that is not possible. There is uncertainty in determining the number of iterations that would be required before the prototype is finally accepted by the customer. So this is what I said, it might take number of cycles. For prototype development, it might take one cycle also, it might take 10 cycles also, it might take 100 cycles also, or it may become an infinite loop also. So these number of iterations are not fixed, and time and cost depends upon these number of iterations actually. The more the number of iterations, the more time effort will be required. After seeing an early prototype, the customer sometimes demand the actual product to be delivered soon. Since he is able to view it, he gets like proper understanding of the system by working on it, on the prototype. So he would like, okay, this is done, just give me the original system immediately, I'll start working on my module. But we have to develop the original system later. Developers in a hurry to build prototypes may end up with suboptimal solutions. So if they have less time, so what they'll say, okay, I need this. Suboptimal means just in prototype only. He doesn't want an actual system. He'll say, give me this prototype only and I'll do my work with this, right? So quality will be compromised in this case. It won't be an optimal solution. The customer might lose interest in the product if he or she not satisfied with the initial prototype. So if he is not satisfied, so he will be demotivated. He will lose his interest in the product. So similarly, we have so many advantages and disadvantages of each and every model. Once we will do all the models, right, then we can better tell the advantage of each and every model and disadvantage by comparing each other model, right? So coming up to the types of prototyping model, two types: rapid throwaway prototyping, and the second one is evolutionary prototyping. If I just summarize, what do they actually mean is, you developed a prototype, right? Now you're supposed to develop the original system once the customer is satisfied. So if I throw away that prototype, that means I discard that prototype because it's of no use. It was just used to get the requirement or clear the requirement from the customer. I'll discard that prototype and from scratch I'll develop a new system. This is known as throwaway prototyping. That means the prototype which has been developed to clear the requirements is just a waste. You will discard it and a new system will be developed from scratch. While evolutionary prototype says, as the name suggests, you are not going to discard the prototype, you will make the changes to that existing prototype, right, and convert it into your original system by making the changes. So we can utilize that prototype and convert it into our original system by making relevant changes. That is evolutionary prototype. So if you compare, which one is a better, throwaway prototyping or a evolutionary prototyping? Throwaway prototyping, the entire resources, effort, cost and time that you have incurred for developing the prototype is all waste. While in evolutionary case, it's not a waste, it has been utilized and the original system is based on that prototype that act as a core module and you convert and modify into your original system. If I explain this with the help of a diagram, let's see. Initial set of user requirements, you have it, right? Then this is a prototype development cycle. Quickly design it, develop the prototype, give it to the customer for evaluation, refine the requirements. Keep on repeating this until unless customer gets satisfied. Now, if the prototype gets accepted, that means you give it to the customer for evaluation, he is satisfied. So if it is satisfied, yes condition, what we will do if the prototype is accepted? In case of evolutionary prototyping, we will refine the prototype, right? Refine means making the changes to that existing prototype, test the final product, deliver and maintain. That means that prototype is converted into your original system. We test it and then we deliver or deploy and maintain it. That is evolutionary. While what happens in the case of throwaway prototyping is, you discard this prototype, develop the final SRS. That means with the prototype you got the final requirements. You update your SRS document. Here you had initial or the rough requirements only. With the help of this prototype you have got all the requirements and clear the existing requirements. So you are going to develop the final SRS with the modified requirements. Now design it, code it, test it, deploy and maintain with the help of this iterative waterfall approach. So that means you are developing the system from scratch in case of throwaway prototyping, while in case of evolutionary you are simply converting your prototype into your original system and the product is developed. So here also you can see the less effort, time and cost is required in case of evolutionary, while since we have to rework on everything, so more effort, time and cost will be required in this case. But if I say if it is better, so why we go for throwaway prototyping? We must always use an evolutionary. So the answer would be that depends upon the type of project or the application domain. Whichever is suitable in that particular scenario or the condition, we use that approach. We can't say ki only one approach will be used and other is just a waste. It may be sometimes this is required, we cannot adopt this one. So that depends upon the type of problem or the application area. Quickly summarizing the prototyping methodology, we build a prototype, test and then rework when needed until an acceptable prototype is achieved. Then we have these phases like gathering the requirement, quickly designing it, building a prototype, then give it to the customer for evaluation, refine the prototype, then implement your product and maintain. So these are the basic steps in prototype development. Then two types of prototyping models are there: rapid throwaway prototype and evolutionary prototype. Regular meetings are essential to keep the project on time and avoid cost delays in prototyping approach. So you can say though additional cost and time and effort is required, but yes, we can keep a track on it and use it effectively by having regular meetings. Missing functionalities can be identified, which help to reduce the risk of failure, as prototyping is also considered as a risk reduction activity. That cycle is, I've told you, that was absent in waterfall model, but here we have it. We are developing a prototype and getting the first customers requirement, we are clearing it, so there is a least possibility of missing out any functionality, as well as customer will be more satisfied. Prototyping may encourage excessive change request, right? Now and then the customer can give the changes. Since you are asking him, you are giving him to evaluate, so definitely he will give changes now and then, right? Frequently he'll be giving changes. So this is what all about your prototype model. Go through it properly, and in the discussion class today we will be discussing this prototype model also, right? Till the time, thank you all, have a good day.